Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make a really cute dream catcher out of epoxy resin. So first I have 5 different colored mica powders I'm going to be using, and I use these little cups to mix them up. So I put some different type of mica powders and glitter, and then I poured the clear resin in those and mixed them each up. So I'm going to start with the feathers, and for that I just put a line of one colored resin through the middle and then put different other ones on top of that. So the front of these feathers will actually be at the bottom of the mold. So I put some different chunky glitter in there as well, and that's all going to drop to the bottom, and it'll be visible on the front of the feather when we take it out of the mold. Just push it to all of the edges and make sure you're getting that top part where that circle is, because that's going to get air bubbles if you don't run your toothpick around it. And just make sure all the resin gets in there. That way you won't have a hole where you don't need to at the end product. You can do any type of pattern you want on these, any type of collars that you want. It's completely up to you, and that's what makes it fun. So see how I'm running that toothpick around that top circle there? Just making sure that it's completely covered. And you want it to be flat, even with the top of the mold, so you don't have any divots or anything. And then just keep on pouring until you filled all the mold up. I didn't do a couple of the feathers on this particular mold, but I'm going to do a whole nother set of these towards the end. See how I'm not wasting any resin? I'm trying to get it all out of there. Toothpicks work great for any type of resin project just because they're small, and it helps you get the resin where you need it. So here's me showing you I'm going to leave this set for overnight. Then here's the top part of the dream catcher. Now this can be tricky just because there's so many little parts to it, but I'm going to show you different ways you can do it. So here I'm showing you how to use the big popsicle jumbo stick. And I'm going to line this with a darker resin all along the outside edge. And then I'm going to put some in the middle and just little dots of it throughout. This will all mix in at the final product. Also make sure to pay close attention to those circles, because that's how you're going to connect your feathers, and you don't want any air bubbles or anything getting in those. And so what I'm going to do now is take the yellow, and I'm going to just put it on one part of the dream catcher, because I want a lot of different colors to come out in the end product. And this is the best way to do it. So here's another way. This is the most tedious way. You can take your toothpick and be very precise about where you're putting your resin. And this would take you forever if you did this for your entire project. So I don't necessarily recommend this, but for some people who don't like the mess, this is the way you would do it. See how I'm kind of mixing some of that in with the brown as well? So here's another way. You can use a dropper. This is also a more precise way, but it would take you even longer than the toothpick method if you did it for the whole entire thing. But if there's a certain couple places where you need specific placement of your resin, you can do it this way. But for this big of a project, to use the dropper for it would take forever. And I'm smoothing it out on the top. Here's the way I prefer to do this. It looks messy, but I promise it comes out great in the end if you do it how I tell you to. I'm pouring it directly on there, and you're going to smooth it out a little bit. I'm doing it with a dropper right now, but I'll show you how I finish it off, and it works really great. So see how it's going into all the edges, into all the divots, and then I'm going to pour some more directly onto the mold and smooth it out. And this is also a project I've found in the past. It's really easy to miss a piece, and then you get a hole in your project. So this way actually makes you have a lot less holes because you're not missing as much. So I'm just pouring it directly on there, smoothing it out, and it's going to evenly get in all the little divots of the mold. This is actually really, those little crevices are very, very small. So it would be very tedious to do it any other way than this. It would take you forever. So I'm going to smooth it out, but my finisher is to take one of those jumbo popsicle sticks, just like this, and you're going to, don't press down. You don't want the resin to come out of the divots. You're very gently moving your jumbo popsicle stick over the mold to get any excess off, and at the same time, you're pushing that resin to any place that needs it. And it's a wonderful way to do it, and it's, out of all the times I've done it, this is definitely the best way. And you're cleaning off the top of the mold as well, so you're not going to have a lot of those places to clean up at the end. So I let that set overnight. This is epoxy resin. You let it cure overnight. And then I'm going to take it out of the mold. Once I start it, I like to flip it over and do it this way. It's much easier. Now you can see where my resin is still slightly pliable, and I did that on purpose. I didn't let it cure completely because I feel like it's easier to clean up the little pieces since it's a lot more pliable and not as hard. So see how I'm taking it's my sewing machine seam rippers, and if you've seen any of my other videos, I use these a lot. They work great. An X-Acto knife or anything like that would work great for cleaning up all those pieces. So I did a whole nother mold of the feathers, and this time I went ahead and did the little mini version of the Dreamcatcher top as well, because we're going to be making a big one and a small one today. And you just take it out of the mold very carefully. So I've made these as keychains in the past with just beads instead of feathers on the bottom, and they turn out really cute as well. Or you can use these as one of the bottom pieces to your big Dreamcatcher, but we're going to make a big and small one today. There's all the feathers that we made, and there's our top piece. We're going to be adding those feathers onto all the little circles on the bottom. So I'm using some twine. So you can use whatever you want. You can use fishing line or clear bracelet plastic cord or anything really that you want. I just thought this made it have more of a natural look, so I liked this. I'm going to use this twine, and you do a longer string on your outer edges and then do shorter strings for the middle ones. I'm also going to line these up to see how I want them before I start connecting them to the piece. So see, you can also use that little one and then do little feathers on the bottom of that if you want. There's so many ways to do it. You could add beads to this, just so many different ways. Little charms, it's however you want to do it. I'm just giving you one way that you could do it. Hopefully you'll get some inspiration from this and make your own. So I am figuring out where I want to put my feathers and seeing what ones I want to place where. And I decided on doing the small feather in the middle, then two bigger ones, and then like a medium size on the outside of it. So once you have your twine in there, you're just going to do a double knot and then cut off the ends. Make sure it's tight. Don't get it really, really close or it'll come undone. Leave a little bit of enough to where it'll stay. And then once you're connected, just do the rest of your feathers just like that. See how that's a longer string? It's because it's on the outside. And now we're going to do a smaller string, and plus this is a longer feather too. So I don't want them to all be completely even, but I don't want them to be wonky looking either, to where they're really short, really long. Do a double knot, and it's a much shorter length of string. And that's how it's looking so far. And now we're just going to continue I've sped it up slightly. Doing your double knot. And when you're actually, it's kind of, this mold has a slightly weird placement of the holes at the bottom. So there seems like there's almost one extra feather that needs to be, but it's fine. It still looks really cute in the end. This, I'm just doing a double knot with the loop intact so that you can hang it on anywhere you're going to hang it. And it turned out really, really cute. Here's the big one. Stick around because I'm going to show you the small one as well. So this is what the big one looks like when you hang it by itself. Turned out really pretty. Now here's the small one. Again, you could use this as a keychain or just a small dream catcher. These make really cute gifts. My kids love them as well. And they sell really well too at craft shows. So if you're looking for another item to add to your shop. So here is this one finished. I just did them all the same length of the small feathers, and those bigger feathers, you can use those as keychains or ornaments or whatever you like. Here's the two finished products, the big and the small. You can see that there's a big size difference. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.